Please stand.
Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Kingston Liberal Synagogue, and welcome to you who are watching us online today. So welcome to this very special service for Noah. Noah is having his bar mitzvah. So for those who are not familiar with the Jewish tradition, the bar mitzvah is a coming of age ceremony. So when a young Jew is reaching the age of 13 years and one day, he or she becomes bar or bat mitzvah, which means son or daughter of the commandments. In other words, he or she is responsible for his religious life from now on. So the service is divided in 4 parts. So the first part is what's called the morning blessing. So we'll say a few prayers to warm up a bit. So then we turn to one of the 2 main prayers of a Jewish service, the Shema, which is a prayer in which we say what we believe, what's important to us. And the other prayers, the next big prayer is called the Amidah. It's a standing prayer where we say what we hope for the day, and it's followed by the core of a service, which is the Torah service. So the Torah scrolls in here in the ark, so we'll take it out, put it on the bima, and Noah will read it for us, which is a very important part of a Jewish service, because it's the moment we read from the law, what God has given to the Jews at Mount Sinai. It's like reenacting what happened, I don't know how many centuries ago, if it ever happened actually as it's written, but that's another question. And then we have the final prayers and blessings, and we finish with the Kaddish for the people who passed away in this time of the year in years past, and with the final song. So, Noah, you will be our Baal Tfilah today, our service leader. So we're on page 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, for eyes to see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, for clothes to wear. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sovereign of the universe, for the joy of freedom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam for the power to rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam for providing for all our needs. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam for daily renewing our strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam for the blessing of sleep and the privilege of waking up to a new day. Okay. Praise be the one at whose command the world came to be. We praise you, our God, sovereign of the universe, worshipped by your people, lauded and glorified by those who love and serve you. With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, sole source of life of all worlds. We praise you, sovereign God, to whom all praise is due.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפעליך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
It's a short poem, Forever Young, by Bob Dylan. I'm not going to sing it. You'll be very relieved. No. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the lights surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. May you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of change shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young.
Please stand.
Page 6.
Yishtabach Shim Chalad Malkeinu Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol V'HaKadosh B'Shamayim Uva'aretz Ki Lecha Na'a Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Shir Ushvacha Halel V'Zamra Berachot V'Chodaot Ma'ata V'Ad Olam Baruch Ata Adonai Havacher B'Shei Zimra.
Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la.
We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, Maker of light and Creator of darkness, Author of peace and Creator of all things. In your mercy you give light to the earth and all who live on it, and in your goodness you renew creation continually, day by day. How manifold are your works, O God! With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamorot. Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching. Make us faithful to your commandments and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you summon us to serve you and proclaim your unity. Baruch atah Adonai, habacher bamo Yisrael b'chava. Please stand for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Ba'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Ba'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Lai 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 la 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 lai la 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 lai 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 la la lai 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 la 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 lai la 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 lai 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 la la lai. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. לי לי לה 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 לי לה 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 לי 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 לה לה לי 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 לה 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 לי לה 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 לי 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 לה לה לי. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. לי לי לה 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 לי לה 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 לי 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 לה לה לי 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 לה 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 לי לה 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 לי 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 לה לה לי. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. לי 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 לה 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 לי לה 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 לי 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 לה לה לי 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 לה 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 לי לה 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 לי 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 לה לה לי לי לה לה לי לי כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Please be seated. Page 9. Good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words, now and forever. The everlasting God is sovereign, the rock of Jacob, the shield of salvation. Eternal God, you redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. שבחו גולים, לשם חער שפת הים, יחד כולם חדו והמלכו והמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, זו ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל. גאלנו אדוני צבאות שם הקדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Please stand for the Amidah. Page 11.
La 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 la
Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konecha Kol, ve'Zocher Chasdea ve'Vot ve'Imaot, Uvmei ve'Geula livnei v'Nechem le'Ma'an Shemo ba'achava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibur L'Olam, Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah, Rav L'Choshia, Mashiv Haruach u'Morid Hageshem, Masriach Hashemesh u'Morid Hatal.
מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ודופק עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה.
V'ne'eman atah l'chaka yat hakol, Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hamatim. We sanctify your name on earth, as in the prophet's vision, the hosts of heaven sing your praise above. For so it is written.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzavaot, Melech haaretz kavodo.
Kivado maleh olam.
Baruch kavod Adonai mimkomo.
From your concealment, majestic one, reveal yourself and rule over us, for you are our hope.
Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, Lador vador, Hallelujah. Lador vador, Nagid Godlecha, Ulenetzach netzachim kedushatcha nagdish. Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh, hakadosh.
Please be seated.
Yismeru b'malchutcha, Yismeru b'malchutcha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Amakadashei Shavi'im, Amakadashei Shavi'im, Kulam yisbehu v'yitangu mituvecha, v'hashvi'i, v'hashvi'i, Ratzita bo v'kidashto, Chemdat yamim, Chemdat yamim, Oto krata, Zechel ma'aseh v'reishit.
Bottom of page 13. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your salvation and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Makadesh Shabbat. Eternal God, be gracious to your people Israel, and in your love accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levarcha b'rana avo. We give thanks that you, Eternal One, are our God, as you were the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. Baruch atah Adonai, hator shimcha ucha ne'ele hodot.
Nasim shalom tova uvracha, chen b'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, chen b'chesed v'rachamim. Let the light of your presence be the light of our lives. Grant us happiness, mercy, and peace. May the people of Israel join hands with the world, and our passion for justice increase. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, Chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Let the light of your Torah be the light of our dreams. Grant olive branch soars with the dove. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, chen b'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha, chen b'chesed v'rachamim. Yehiyu l'ratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol bnei Torah.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for your music. I think, Lauren, you wanted to say a few words now, please.
Just a few. I'm so happy to be here, somewhat delayed, but still here with friends and family, albeit not all of them, but really thankful to Rabbi, to Russell, and to the rest of the Beitenu teachers, not all are here today, but also for the community, for their support on the road to getting here. So I found myself back at this bima to talk about my son, but this time the second born. I failed miserably the first time, I have to confess, and I hope to do better this time and not be the stereotypical emotional mother, but there are absolutely no guarantees on that one, no guarantees.
I know a good friend if you want.
Always comes in handy. You see, I'm not going to bore you with a blow-by-blow account of Noah's now 14 years. Although I'm going to seek a little bit of indulgence in talking about him in my few words. But contemplating what I was going to share this morning and what I was going to share with you today, I felt quite overwhelmed and grateful to be here. This is where I take a breath, so we don't go to stereotype. Quite frankly, Noah is he is completely my miracle boy. He showed some signs of his personality very early on, and I should have known from that. But from the time he was a twinkle, he was a doubtful starter. And then he was incredibly impatient. Decided to come and join us 2 months early. Best laid plans, as they say. But his resilient and fighting spirit were very apparent at that time. As I said, early glimpses of his personality. In the beginning, everybody was too scared to be anywhere near him because he was so tiny. And funny, he stands taller than me now, but I still think of him in the diminutive. So I'm sorry, Noah, you'll always be little to me, to your mother. He got strong and healthy very quickly, and I have clear recollections of this curly-haired, feisty fella, either running around in his exhibitionist style or trying to blow himself up. And one of his favorite party tricks was to take a bicycle pump, put it in his mouth, and see how wide he could blow his cheeks. I have pictures to prove it, but they didn't make it into your booklet. So you should be grateful for that. And hopefully there is no lasting damage with that, Noah. But beneath this quirkiness, he's incredibly and phenomenally empathetic. In fact, we used to have to switch off the TV if there was ever a commercial for a charity, and if they spoke about the plight of people in need, he was left completely desolate and devastated. So we'd have to switch that off. And it reminds me of an Nguni word called Ubuntu, which means humanity, or I am because we are. And you've grown a little bit out of that. We can leave the TV on, but I hope that you carry that sense of humanity and community with you, Noah. One thing that is undeniable about Noah is his wit. Somewhat dry, somewhat naughty, but definitely his get-out-of-jail-free card. From an early age, he has shown maturity and wisdom beyond his years, and this has been evident in his sense of humour. Another undeniable fact about Noah is he is his own person, and is happy to march to the beat of his own symphony, let alone drum. I love and admire that about him. Not to say that that hasn't been without frustration. Growing up, he was my Dafka son, and the fact that the first letters is an alarming coincidence with his personality and the fact that the first letters of his name spell no. But I respect this, and I realize how difficult it is to be your own person in a world that wants to put you in a box. Both your father and I are very proud to see you reach this day. And I have enjoyed being on this bar mitzvah journey with you, relishing and climbing nachas, as we've had discussions on the meaning of your portion. I remain grateful for you and for this day, and I wish you an extraordinary life, one filled with everyday miracles of love, friendship, and purposeful work, while you remain true to yourself. In closing, I would just like to share a short poem with you, a Ralph Waldo Emerson poem. This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunset to warm your heart, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so that you can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, and love to complete your life. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's hard to follow all that. Okay, so now we are reaching the stage of a service where we read from a Torah scroll. So we're on page 16. And as the first few lines in Hebrew will tell us, taken from the book of Esdras, instituting the public reading of Torah, Assemble the people, the men and the women, and the children, and the strangers in your cities, to hear and learn to revere the Eternal One, your God, and observe faithfully all the precepts of this Torah. And let the children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere the Eternal One, your God. Please stand.
עינינו בתורתך, ותדבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. עינינו בתורתך, ותדבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. בתורתך, ודבק לבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו.
גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
Back to your seat. Please be seated. So the practice of reading from the scroll is called in Hebrew an aliyah. Aliyah, which means to go up. Because the idea is that we go up. We are now at Mount Sinai. So we are at Mount Sinai like our ancestors were, and we are listening to the words that were revealed to Moses at Mount Sinai. So I'm going to call Noah. Ya'amod likro b'Torah, Noach Adam ben Liora. And Noah will first share with us his views about the Torah portion he's going to read later. You just raise your hand if it's too fast. Slow down. Hold your horses.
Hello and welcome to my bar mitzvah. I would like to start by saying a very big thank you to my family, friends, and the community who are here today. In the beginning of the booklet, there is a brief description of the service and a bar mitzvah. You may know that the normal age is 13. I am now a little older than that, but I asked to postpone my bar mitzvah, hoping that my family and friends could travel to be here. Unfortunately, we are not yet in a position where this is possible without personal risk and expense. So thank you to those who are here, and thank you to those who have linked in via social media. I'd also like to say a very big thank you to the digital team at KLS, who have made it possible to have family and friends not able to travel be part of my day. This morning, I'll be sharing with you some of my views on the Torah portion that I have studied and what it means to me, as well as my personal views about being a bar mitzvah. The Torah portion that I will read is part of Parashat Pinchas from Numbers. The book of Numbers is the fourth book in the Torah, and is called this because God ordered a census of the people. The final story is the tale of Zelophehad, who died without sons, and the plight of his daughters. As he had no sons, there was no one in the family who could legally inherit his land and belongings, as at that time only men could inherit. So his daughters, one of whom is called Noah, by the way, make a plea that they should be entitled to their father's estate. Moses brings this case before God, and God rules in favor of the 5 women. This decision is significant as it established an important precedent in Jewish law that has often been referred to by those seeking gender equality in Judaism. It also provides a base for the hope that things can change. Now, although this seems positive with a fair outcome, it has left me with many questions, some of these relating to continued gender inequality and the choices we make, and how much more there is still to do. In my research, I came across the Group of Elders, an organization founded by Nelson Mandela, consisting of retired global leaders. They have as a vision, and I quote, "Our vision is a world where people live in peace, conscious of their common humanity and their shared responsibilities for each other, for the planet, and for future generations." Of relevance to this discussion, Jimmy Carter, former US president and a member of the Elders, noted in a speech that women are prevented from playing a full and equal role in many faiths, creating an environment in which violations against women are justified. He went on to say that the belief that women are inferior human beings in the eyes of God gives excuses to those who treat women badly, as well as, by example, the employer who has a lower pay scale for women. The Elders, some years back, issued a joint statement calling on religious leaders to change all discriminatory practices within their own religions and traditions. This was important recognition of the role that religion has played and continues to play when used to manipulate and subjugate women. There are plenty of examples of traditional religions, including Judaism, that emphasize this, including the Orthodox prayer that a man recites, giving thanks to God that he was not born a woman. The impact of religion on general secular life is clear. This is not historic, this is happening now. You can see it playing out in the US, where women's rights are being impacted, and you can see the influence in other parts of the world, where biblical views on the roles of women in society have had, and continue to have, a massive impact on the way in which women are treated. That is why the content of my portion is so significant. It provides a base to negate this type of ideology. Religion has an impact on society, and it also, therefore, has a real ability to empower women, which leaves me with a paradox that I've been able to reconcile, as it is religion itself that has perpetuated these views. Religion needs to be a part of the solution. It is astounding to me that this remains an issue today. Someone somewhere once said, "The more things change, the more they stay the same." My South African rugby family had a good laugh at the phrase, "The more things change, the more they stay the same." Apologies to those who do not get the reference, and apologies as well to my British friends who do get the reference, but I couldn't resist mentioning the Box victory in the recent Lions tour. But turning this back to my Torah portion, it's a sad indictment that in 2021, we are still talking about finding ways of ensuring gender parity. We can see some changes. For example, the first female rabbi, Sally Priestley, was ordained in 1972. My parents made a choice when joining Kingston Liberal Synagogue, as it felt like a community where they could be comfortable. I mention this as I believe I am fortunate to be in a liberal environment that has actively sought to create a non-gendered religious environment. This is mentioned in the introduction to my morning siddur, where I note that the names of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are now mentioned in the same breath as Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah. Now, my extract seems to be a leading light and a light and diversion from the usual traditional religious discourse where women are subservient to men. The question then has to be asked, why did it not have a bigger impact on the subsequent Bible stories, and why has it not been more impactful on changing the way in which women are viewed in society? I don't have the answers, but I know that there was a basic recognition early on that women should be entitled to receive the same as men in order for a just and fair society. I'm a man and the son of professional women, the nephew of strong aunts and the grandson of amazing women. I realise as I look to the future, I have a responsibility to ensure that I am part of a solution rather than perpetuating any injustices. It remains an anathema to me, but that is part of my continued growth. To try and understand by seeing the world through others' perspectives in order to be part of the change. Studying for my portion has awakened me to what still needs to be done. This lesson will be a rich part of my continued learning. I've been assisted in my learnings by a number of people, and I would firstly like to thank Rabbi René for his leadership and humour in discussions, and Russell Landy for his patience and overtime in assisting me in my extended preparation. A thank you to Carolyn Farah for all that she does in making Beiteni fun, and also to Dominique and Sandra for their extraordinary efforts in teaching me Hebrew. A shout out to my grandparents, Jeremy and Sally, my uncle Ian, my aunts Terry and Adrian, both of whom I wish the best of health and healing. To my aunt Aviva, my cousins Jamie, Kai, Kelly, Ariella, Cameron, Leora, Eliana, and Kayla. I would especially like to thank my parents and brother for your support in my bar mitzvah journey. Thank you all once again for showing my day, both those near and far, and helping me to make it memorable.
Yasher koach. Really good. Really. I'm going to stop saying that because it will have a big head, but it's really good. Yeah. Okay, we're going to put this here. And now, this Shabbat is called Shabbat Shoftim, which is a passage from the book of Deuteronomy. But because of COVID, we had to postpone B'nai Mitzvah over the years. So this passage is normally read in the spring, before the spring, end of winter. So when was your bar mitzvah supposed to be? I don't remember now. July.
That's what's important.
Okay. So forget what I said. Gosh. Ish. 6 months, take only 6 months. Okay. So it's from the book of Numbers, chapter 26, verse 65 to 27, verse 11. And if you want to read the English, it's in your booklets on page 18 and 19. And now Noah will read from the scroll, and I will show it to you later because some of you haven't never seen a scroll before. So the first thing you have to do is to remember where to start.
Yeah.
Can you find it?
Yeah.
You've got it? Okay.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Vorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachobanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki amar Adonai lahem mot yamutu b'midbar v'lo natar nahem ish ki im chalev ben Yefunah v'Yehoshua ben Nun v'tikravna benot Zelophehad ben Hefer ben Gilad ben Mechir ben Manasseh l'mishpachot Manasseh ben Yosef ve'eleh shemot benotav Machala Noah Umilka v'Tirtza v'Ta'amodna לפני משה ולפני אלעזר הכהן ולפני הנשיאים וכל העדה פתח אוהל מועד לאמור. אבינו מת במדבר והוא לא היה בתוך העדה הנועדים על אדוני בעדת קורח כי בחטאו מת ובנים לא היו לו. למה יגרע שם אבינו מתוך משפחתו כי אין לו בן תנה לנו אחוזה בתוך אחי אבינו ויקרב משה את משפחתן לפני אדוני ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור כן בנות צלופחד דוברות נתון תיתן לכן אחוזת נחלה בתוך אחי אביהם והעברתם את נחלת אביהן להן. ואל בני ישראל תדבר לאמור איש כי ימות ובן אין לו והעברתם את נחלתו לביתו. ואם אין לו בת ונתתם את נחלתו לאחיו. ואם אין לו אחים ונתתם את נחלתו לאחי אביו. ואם אין אחים לאביו ונתתם את נחלתו לישרו הקרוב אליו ממשפחתו וירש אתה וחיית לפני ישראל לחוקת משפט כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. Baruch atah Adonai noten Haftarah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Really, really well done. Really good. Russell, would you mind doing the Agba? No? So the Agba is the moment we raise the scroll so you can see how it looks like. Please stand. We are on page 20, and then Nathan and Lauren will come here to dress the scroll.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Lamo Yisrael Bigdushato.
So, yeah, please put it there. And you come here and, oops.
It is the tree of life to them that hope fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is the tree of life to them that hope fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is the tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is the tree of life to them that hold fast to it, all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is the tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is the tree of life to them that hold fast to it, all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom.
So please be seated. So you give the scroll to your mom. So after the Torah reading, we read a passage of the book of prophets, which is called the Haftarah. And lehaftir means to conclude, so it gives you an indication where we are in the service, but it's not over yet. Okay, so, and Nathan will do the Haftarah.
Okay.
So we're on page 20.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar binviim tovim v'ratzah b'divreihem hane'emerim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uvmo she'avdo uv'Yisrael el amo uvinviei ha'emet v'tzedek.
From the book of Joshua, chapter 17, verses 1 to 10. This was the land allotted to the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn, that is, for Machir, Manasseh's firstborn. Machir was the ancestor of the Gileadites, who had received Gilead and Bashan, because the Machirites were great warriors. So this land was allotted to the rest of the people of Manasseh, the clans of Abiezer, Helek, Asriel, Shechem, Hefer, and Shemidah. These are the other male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and their clans. Now Zelophehad, son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters, whose names were Machlah, Noah, Choglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They went to Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the leaders, and they said, "The Eternal commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our relatives." So Joshua gave them an inheritance along with the brothers of their father, according to the Eternal's command. Manasseh's share consisted of 10 tracts of land, besides Gilead and Bashan, east of the Jordan, because the daughters of the tribe of Manasseh received an inheritance among the sons. The land of Gilead belonged to the rest of the descendants of Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh extended from Asher to Mikmethath, east of Shechem. The boundary runs southward from there to include the people living in En Tappuah. Then the boundary continued south to the Kana Ravine. There were towns belonging to Ephraim lying among the towns of Manasseh, but the boundary of Manasseh was the northern side of the ravine and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. On the south, the land belonged to Ephraim, on the north to Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh reached the Mediterranean Sea and bordered Asher on the north and Issachar on the east.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzokol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber umkayem shechol devarav emet v'tzedek.
Thank you, Yasher Koach. So we're on page 21. So we're still saying these prayers.
Yes, Russell, Jules, and Tim.
Okay, please stand, and I'm afraid you have to stand as well.
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
But yeah, you swap places.
Yeah, maybe you can. So the people who are saying the prayers on page 21 and 2, please come forward.
You first.
Eternal God, whose dominion has embraced the universe, we ask your blessing for all the royal family, for those who govern our country, and all who influence the quality of its national life. May they make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion it in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
May the one who blessed our ancestors bless our brothers and sisters of the house of Israel, who enter synagogues to pray and to give aid to those in need. May the Holy One, to whom all praise is due, hear their prayers and help them fulfill their aspirations for good.
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aim of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbors, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai mirushalayim.
You can go back. Thank you. So, Lance, I will ask you to come. We're on page 22.
Gratefully, we thank you for the joyous privilege of seeing our son attain this milestone. On this day, cherished dreams and hopes are fulfilled. On this day, new dreams and new hopes are born. We give thanks for the wondrous privilege of seeing our son grow day by day, week by week, year by year. For the health and strength you have given him, for the mind and spirit with which you endowed him, for his ability to elicit and return love, for all these precious gifts, we thank you. Watch over him, O God, on this special day and every day. Grant him a growing understanding of the true significance of this occasion and a deepening loyalty to everything which it represents. May the teachings of our heritage guide him throughout life, and may he lead a life worthy of your blessing. Amen.
Amen. Noah, today you have come here surrounded by your family, your friends, and your community. We share these prayers we have for you, knowing that you have the ability to make all your hopes and dreams come true. May you be blessed with patience and compassion, supporting justice and righteousness. May your Judaism not be something only inherited, but something to be discovered over and over. May the one who blesses our ancestors Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rivka, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless Noah, who having reached the age of bar mitzvah, has come up to read the Torah. And now, Nathan, you will give the scroll to your brother. Then you can, please come here.
In the presence of this congregation, which represents the Jewish people all over the world and all the other peoples for the world amongst whom we live, I give thanks for what I have learned of my Jewish heritage. I promise to go on studying it in the years ahead so that I may come to understand ever more deeply and carry out more fully the duties that flow from it. I think of all those who, in the past ages, generation after generation, have preserved the Jewish faith and declared their loyalty to it as I do today. I thank my parents and my family, my teachers and my friends, and all who have helped me to reach this day. And I pray to God, please travel with me on the journey of my life, guide me and keep me strong so that I may find favor in your eyes and with your help fulfill the high hopes that rest on me. Amen. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, who has kept us alive, sustained us and enabled us to reach this new time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
So now I will present you now with this bar mitzvah certificate, which says that today, on the 14th of August 2021, you were called up to the Torah in Parashat Shoftim, in presence of the community. In becoming bar mitzvah, you have accepted the privileges and responsibilities of being a Jew, lifelong Torah learning, and the keeping of mitzvot, Shabbat, holidays and life cycle events. We didn't put the kashrut mitzvot in it because it might be a bit too much, but if you do that, it's already very good. Participation in synagogue activities, dedication to Tikkun Olam, the perfection of the world. And this certificate will serve as a confirmation of Jewish status in case someone is asking what's your status. You can present them, and we have a copy here. So I will give it maybe to, so you can keep it. So, can you open the ark, please? Behold, the good doctrine has been given to you. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Please return here.
ונשובה
You can relax now. You can take it with you. Well done, well done. So when did you have your citizenship ceremony? When was it?
The last couple of months, yeah.
Ah, okay. Because I was listening to the prayer for royal family, and I remember we talked about so I had my citizenship ceremony 6 days ago, and so a couple of months ago, so that's the first time that when we say the royal family, so it's becoming real now. Huh? So I'd like to start with a question, which, I reflected a lot on what you said, Noah, because as I told Noah and Lauren, I came back from holiday only on Thursday, and there was no way I would do anything synagogues related while I was away. And I thought, just listen to what Noah has to say and get. It was a bet, but your Dvar Torah was so good that you gave me actually a lot of good ideas to reflect on. So I'd like to ask you the question: how prepared are we for change? How much change are we able to cope with? And does our ability to deal with change evolve over time? We need certainty, we need stability. We need to find the familiar every day, and we are attached to our comfort zone. Today you were a bit pulled out of your comfort zone, but you did very, very well. And that's normal, that's human. We need this comfort zone. But at the same time, the world has this irritating feature to never stay the same. Time flies, and with it, change happens. We go through different stages during our lifetime on this earth. And, reflecting on changing citizenship, the country we once knew in our childhood, whether South Africa or France, is no longer the same. In truth, there is an internal tension between the desire to keep things as they are, as there's always been, allegedly at least, and an ever-changing reality we can't do much about it. A new generation emerges, bringing new ideas, new values, and the older generation is told to keep up with it. Our time is limited, but it takes decades to understand that we are not here forever. So we have created political parties that claim to keep things as they have always been, again, allegedly. We have religions which operate on a very different time frame than our human life. Our ancestors built their needs for certainty on the idea that God wanted the world to be in a certain state forever, and nothing could be changed, ever. But part of us knows that this is impossible. And I'd like to relate to a festival which will happen in a couple of months, the festival of Sukkot, when we sleep, or supposed to sleep under booth, impermanent booth, which is quite a challenge in Britain when it's late in the autumn. It starts on the 20th of September this year, and Sukkot is a reminder of the impermanence of life. And it tells us that our lives are fragile. Nothing ever stays the same. And this knowledge is a source of joy, believe it or not. This knowledge is a source of joy because it's freeing us from any illusion we may have. So some very serious thoughts for a bar mitzvah, right? I have to say, Noah, I was really impressed by your views on your Torah portion. And if you don't mind, I'd like to carry on our conversation by adding a few of my own thoughts. The fact that your story is actually a case when God changes the law to adapt it to new circumstances is mind-blowing if you think about the general religious narrative that everything stays the same. And actually in Torah already we have a situation where God himself says, okay, I need to change something. Who would have thought that the lawgiver of Israel would leave provision for evolution? And yet, Judaism is in essence progressive. That means that certainties change. Laws that once were binding can evolve, and even our set of values is an organic body of ideas that moves over time. Think about the names of the daughter of Tzelofhad. I love their names. Each of them is indicative of movement. The name Machla, from the root to dance. Noah, which isn't written the same, it's Nun Vav Ayin in that case, and you are Nun Vav Chet. Noah means to move. Milka, it's not the chocolate, it's a derivative from the word to walk. Hogla, from a root that indicates a circular motion. Tirtzach, which contains the root to run. These women are literally movers and shakers. A religious tradition is only valid and relevant if its followers feel empowered to change and adapt it to their current circumstances. And the very Hebrew word that describes the law, in Hebrew we talk about halacha. Halacha comes from a root that means to walk or to move. There is fluidity in halacha, and that makes it fascinating and ever relevant. And you name Noah, which is the same as the biblical character Noah, who leads through one of the most cataclysmic events that befell humanity in the Bible, the flood. In Hebrew, lanuach means to rest, to repose. It doesn't mean to be lazy or to be idle. It's more of a description of someone who keeps calm and carry on in the face of adversity. Noah is the cool one. You are the cool one. So movement, shifting boundaries, and at the same time staying calm and carrying on. I think we have here the real conditions of change. It has to be bold, of course, but at the same time, it has to respect a certain balance. Change needs to be progressive and acceptable to all. You also talked about the need for religions to be more equal to abandon gender imbalance, gender inequality. And I couldn't agree more. Religions have been used in the past and still are too often today as a means for men to wield power over women. It's a power game, no more than that. And there's absolutely no justification to that. I'm glad that there are young people like you to challenge this ancient status quo. And I'm also proud to be part of a movement that have moved away very early on from these antiquated views. And if you think about the founders of liberal Judaism, there was Lily Montagu. Lily Montagu was a woman in the early 20th century, who was one of the founding members of liberal Judaism in the United Kingdom. And when I was listening to you as well, I thought, I think that the fight for gender equality should not be a fight only led by women, but a fight led by progressive people, whichever walks of life they come from. And when I hear you, Noah, and all our Bnei Mitzvah of this year, or the past year even, I'm pretty confident that our future as a movement is secure. Being a religious person, being attached to a religious community, doesn't mean to adopt antiquated views or to wear these old clothes that reminds us of old countries in Poland, the 18th century, when we lived in shtetls. We don't need to be like that. We can be Jews, we can be Jews in the modern world, and we can engage in this conversation between the past and the present, to review what previous generations have found meaningful and to take ownership of this tradition for us today. So, Noah, I hope to continue with you and with the Bnei Mitzvah in our new Kabbalah Torah program that will start in September. So there's no Torah learning, there's Torah learning, but no Torah scroll learning. So we'll do that together. We will explore the richness of a Jewish tradition. I think you've started to feel, and you said it, that it's, sometimes we are 15 million Jews in the world. And if you think about the richness of a Jewish tradition, it's, again, mind-blowing. And that's something we can explore together in order for you to get inspiration from our tradition to become the adult that we can already see here today. So Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. And a last word for Nathan, because I do remember your bar mitzvah. When was it? 3 years ago. It was one of my first mitzvah here at KLS. And I had the same pleasure to work with you and to hear what you had to say. So there's something very strong running in the Horne family. So I hope to, that's clear. So I want, Nathan, you are welcome to come to the Kabbalah Torah class as well, if Noah agrees, of course, if you can work out something together. No? So we'll talk about it later. So Mazel Tov, and you know, you're a lovely family. I think we all agree on that. It's a privilege to be able to be with you at this important moment in your family's life. I mean, for us as a community, it's very important, and it makes us happy. You know, we are very simple people. We want to be happy with people who are happy. It doesn't mean that sometimes life is hard. Life is hard, we know that. But when we're together, we can make it a bit easier. Right. So for usually at this stage of the service, we have announcements, but I will send you back to the newsletter that is every week sent to our members, and I think Craig would like to say a few words. If I can invite you to say a few words, please.
No, would you like to join me? Don't worry, you don't have to do anything.
All over again.
So now, on behalf of Synagogue Council, that was seriously impressive today. Mazel Tov. The way you led us today, with such confidence. In your own words, you said you were a little older than 13, but I think we could be forgiven for thinking you were a lot older than 13. The maturity, meticulous that you gave with your Devar Torah. Very, very well done. I think if we're looking at the next generation to help us, we're in very good hands with people like you. You've got a tough job, and particularly on your certificate, I believe one of the requirements is to perfect the world. So, good luck. So anyway, well done for today. I mean, all your friends, your family here and online will be very, very proud of you. Mazel Tov. And this is a gift to you. Very well done.
Okay, so we are going to conclude our service now, and we are on page 24. But first, I wanted to greet the people who join us online today. We have someone who lives now in the country you used to live, Meira, who is in Sydney now. So, oh gosh, it's late there. Huh? It's almost supper or dinner or what. You know what? I still don't know what the difference. Tea, supper, dinner. Do you know the difference? It depends on the region as well. No, if in the north, the tea in the north is the supper.
And your class, René.
And my class. I'm going to aim very high. You know.
Whether you eat scones or scones, but let's not go there.
Anyway, so it's food time. So Jill and Norman are here. They send you also their best wishes. Sarah Alston said that you were really impressive. And Deborah Wilson from Bradford. Julie Konish is here. Ashton Kessler. And all the people, I don't see their name because it's...
René, we've also got a comment from Adrian Wolfson on YouTube saying Robbie and Zaya would be very proud of your voice.
Oh. Thank you. Good. So...
Oh, and sorry, Camden Wolfson says Mazel Tov Kazi.
Cousin, oh, okay. Yeah. By,
Okay.
oh, yes.
Day will dawn in time to not hurt or destroy in your holy place. The word shall be known to the whole human race, on their lips, in their hearts, so they'll know what to do when that day comes. By Yom Hahu, and on that day I will wipe all tears away. Sorrow and pain shall all be gone, and my name, it shall be one. By Yom Hahu, by Yom Hahu. The spear will break and the chariot burn. The hearts of the parents to children will turn, and children to parents, and all turn to you. When that day comes, by Yom Hahu, by Yom Hahu, and on that day I will wipe all tears away. Sorrow and pain shall all be gone, and my name, it shall be one. By Yom Hahu, by Yom Hahu.
People say the names and plus the people from KLS. Where are they for the Shabbats? So we'll ask you to stand now on page 25 for the Kaddish. Okay.
There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they have long been extinct. There are people whose brilliance continues to light the world, though they are no longer among the living. These lights are particularly bright when the night is dark. They light the way for humanity. In memoriam of Murray Maxon, father of Lisa Walmsley and grandfather of David and Michael, of George Van Cole, grandfather of Paul Ray, Geoffrey Gollin, uncle of Joyce Tyra. I would also like to remember my Bobby and Zeta, Les and Tookie Wolfson.
Is there any name you would like to remember today before we say the Kaddish? So I'd also like to remember Oniso Atopsha from our previous community in Lyon, who passed away on Thursday. We said together on page 25, Itgadal v'itgadash shemei rabba, be'alma divarach v'utzeh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'emru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam ve'almei almaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תוש בחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום למרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם, ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. You can go back to your seat. So the last song is Adon Olam on page 26.
Adon Olam, Hashem Olam, B'terem kol Yetzir Nivra. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה ויהיה בתפארה אדון עולם השם עליו בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפץ הכל אזי מלך נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה. והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז, ולא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי, וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי, בעת צרה, והוא ניסי, ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי, ביום אקרא. אדון עולם השם הלך, טרם כל יציר נברא לי, נשא וחץ הכל, זי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, הוא יחיה בתפארה. אדון עולם השם הלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא לי, נשא וחץ הכל, זי מלך שמו נקרא, אחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה. בידו אף כדרוכי, בעת אישן והעירה, עם רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי, ולא אירא. אדון עולם שמלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא לי, נשא וחץ הכל, זי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יחיה בתפארה. אדון עולם השם הלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא לי, נשא כל הזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה.
There's a wasp up here.
Please stand. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, ברכנו בברכה משולשת הכתובה בתורה. יברך אדוני וישמרך. May God bless you and keep you. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה. May God look kindly upon you, be gracious to you. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. May God reach out to you with tenderness and give you peace. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. So I invite you all to go into the garden.